Good evening, Internet. Welcome back. At long last, after almost 2 months, we are back. It is Bloodstone. I am 8-BitPonies, and I'm hearing my own voice way over here. That's not good. So I'm going to turn off some things. So I can't do that anymore. I have 4 of the 5 members of our cast with us. Hey, guys.
Hello.
Hey.
Welcome back. Very happy to have you all back. Very happy to have our viewers as well. All 2 of you, 4 of you. Yay! But hey, it's the quality, not the quantity, right? It has been, like I said, almost 2 months since our last episode. We are very proud to be bringing back, hopefully on a semi-regular basis, Bloodstone to the channel. Bloodstone is our 4Dad's 5th edition D&D game that has been running in one form or another for about 14 years now. We've been streaming it for just over a year, and this is the 25th episode, so that tells you about the semi-regularity of the event. But we are very happy to be coming back. We have left our intrepid group of adventurers in, well, a bit of a to-do. I'll get into that just momentarily. But I wanted to remind everyone that this week's stream schedule is a little bit extended, at least hopefully. We're bringing back Bloodstone tonight. That'll be Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Central. We will continue to do that throughout the rest of 2024, we hope. Tomorrow is a special, non-scheduled, but a special stream. We're moving Starfleet Academy, or Starfleet Battles Academy, from our occasional Monday time slot to this Wednesday, tomorrow night. That'll be somewhere between 8 and 9 Central. I haven't decided exactly yet. And it has almost never been my decision, being a father of small children. I almost never get to do things exactly when I plan to do them. But we are excited to bring back, I think, the 5th episode, or the fifth battle between myself and Bennett. We're doing Romulans versus Gorn again, and we're bringing in some newer rules. Some things that I've never played with before, so that's going to be really exciting, really interesting. If you're interested in high action spreadsheet tabletop strategy tactics games, Starfleet Battles is a lot of fun. I don't know how fun it is to watch because I've been playing the whole time and I haven't had to sit and watch it, but it is really interesting. Bennett is picking it up very, very quickly, and he's giving me a run for my money. I'm a probably 25 year veteran of the game, and Bennett has played less than a dozen times, and he has won more of our encounters than I have. So that's tomorrow night, Wednesday the 10th. Then we get back into our normal schedule. Thursday, Friday, Saturday this week will be League of Legends. Our Aram Apocalypse stream on Thursday, Friday Night Fights on Saturday. And I'm very much looking forward to Summoner's Saturday this week, as we'll be playing on the New Rift in Season 14 for the first time. I'm very, very excited to get to start learning all the things over again, because I had done such a good job of learning before. And then hopefully 1 week from today, we'll be right back here for episode 26. We'll see how things go tonight and for the rest of this week. Thank you so much for being patient. Those of you who are coming back, and to the cast for being patient as we got through the holidays. Took somewhat of an extended hiatus, more extended than usual anyway. But we were very excited and very happy to have everyone back for tonight's session. Unfortunately, I can't go without saying that Drog, aka Sprout, was unable to join us this evening. He is traveling for work. He is with us in spirit, and he will hopefully be with us in body next week. We will I'll turn it over to the cast for a second. If there's anything you guys want to talk about, anything you want to bring up, mention. No. It's a lot of head
pretty
shakes.
excited to see what happens with no mythics. when your first and second items are not obvious.
Yeah,
I'm telling you,
forward.
man, I'm gonna bring back attack speed Tarek. It's gonna be fantastic.
That's gonna be huge. No mythics.
Yeah. A lot of fun coming up this Thursday, Friday, and Saturday for Four Dads League of Legends action. Anything else?
Yeah. Also, I had to relearn like 42 people, so we better talk to some folks this session. If I start talking to Sebastian Killian and somebody Kool-Aid mans through the wall immediately ending the Baron Mitzvah, I'm gonna be a little salty.
Yeah, I totally understand that. That's a perfect
skosh.
segue. Perfect segue into our recap for the evening. So if you'll bear with me for just a moment. When last we left our intrepid group of adventurers, we are in the fifth consecutive episode of the Baron Mitzvah. I'm not really sure what's going on over here. There's pointing and faces being made. I'm not really sure what's going on. Anyway, we're in the fifth consecutive episode of the Baron Mitzvah, or Eldrick's Ascension, where Souls' character, Eldrick Oaks, is ascending to the barony of Morov. He is becoming a baron, and this is a party that has been put on by his family, most specifically his mother, Madeline Oaks, to affect his coronation and to bring together a number of personages and personalities within the barony of Morov and the Bloodstone Kingdom as a whole to celebrate with Eldrick, provide him with an opportunity to network a bit with the people that will be important in his professional career going forward, and generally to further the plot. Because these are 2-hour episodes, the party has gone on a bit, and there's been a lot of discussion, a lot of mingling, a lot of talking between various party members and various NPCs. And all of it has led, at least in Eldrick's mind, to tonight. He finally has an opportunity to speak with Sebastian Killian, the Marshal of the Wardens of the White Tree. The other members of the party, in our last adventure, Macaria was banished back to her quarters after running afoul of the house steward, Durban Holy, attempted to place a magical suggestion on him to get information, and not only did the suggestion not take root, it upset him a great deal, and he had her bundled off to her quarters to be isolated for the rest of the evening so that she did not hurt herself or anyone else. Upon doing that, Holy reached out to thoros'l and let him know that this is a thing that happened, and because you thoros'l are nominally in charge of the evening's security, this is a thing that should be reported to you. One of your companions got caught with her hand in the cookie jar, and she has been banished for the evening. thoros'l, otherwise, has essentially been shadowing Eldrick, keeping an eye on him, and thanks to a magical ointment of true seeing, has been keeping an eye on the other partygoers to make sure that nothing untoward is happening, or no one unexpected is attempting to infiltrate this meeting of very important individuals within the nation and the province. Turn that music down just a tiny little bit. Alanir had an opportunity to speak with an old mentor, Quillen the Sage, Archmage of the Bloodstone Kingdom after the unfortunate demise of the previous Archmage, the illustrious Emmeline the Grey. Quillen, being a druid prior to becoming an Archmage, was instrumental in Alanir's early days and his druidic training, and shares a relationship with Alanir with Queen Christine Dragonsbane. Quillen has been often an ally to the party, and specifically to Alanir, and Alanir having an opportunity to catch up with him a bit was a good experience for him. And in so doing, Quillen provided a piece of information that was previously unknown to the party, that the great tree, the great oak tree, in the center of the courtyard of Oakhart Manor, while it appears to be a very healthy adult oak tree, has only been there for maybe 10 or so years. It is in fact a transplant and an offshoot, a branch perhaps, of the great white tree of Bloodstone. This is a very big piece of information for the party, as the druidic grove that Alanir comes from are followers of the Tree Lord, Sylvanas, and are based around the White Tree and the White Tree Courtyard at the Bloodstone Palace in Bloodstone Valley. Alanir himself has been blessed by the White Tree, one of few people in the Bloodstone Kingdom that have, and he has a special relationship with the tree. But moreover, more importantly, the tree is actually one of the symbols of the Bloodstone Kingdom and the symbols of the Bloodstone Throne, in that it protects the Bloodstone Kingdom and the environs around the Bloodstone Kingdom from demonic invasion. The Wardens of the White Tree draw their name from that very entity, and that this tree that the party is standing under this very evening is perhaps a child of the original. Very great news indeed, or very big news indeed. Sprout has not been seen in quite some time, unfortunately. The initial moments of the party proved a bit overwhelming, as the party members, or the members of the Damaran Protectors, were having strange and horrific visions in the early moments of the party. Lots of very strange and unsettling and terrifying visions perplexed and vexed the companion protectors. And unfortunately, some of those sights, some of those visions were just too much for the traumatized Furbog, and he simply left with his halfling retainer in tow. He hasn't been seen in quite some time since those moments. That would bring us to Eldrick then, who has, resplendent in his new golden armor, a gift from his mother. The young Baron-to-be has been making his rounds through the party after some hasty investigation of the strange visions and some reactions to those, quick communications with his companions. He has settled into his role as the party's host and has been making his way around the wide open courtyard, glad-handing the attendees and making introductions where he can. It is there where we will pick up this evening, where Eldrick has just turned from one group of individuals to the small cluster of people that he has most ardently been seeking to speak with this evening. But because Souls appears to be a little bit on the distracted side, we'll go ahead and start then with Alanir. Alanir, as you had just recently ended the conversation with Quillen and were turning to, I'm not sure what you had planned to do next. Quillen is slowly, after having said his farewell, Quillen is slowly making his way back over to speak with Madeline Oakes, the organizer of this event, and had let slip that he was performing some of the ceremony this evening and had to go and prepare. You were left standing under the tree itself with a little bit more information kind of washing over you. And for a very brief moment in this sea of humanity and other races, I suppose. Humanity's kind of a narrow span there. But alone in this sea of people and a sea of activity, for a brief moment, you're alone with your thoughts. What would you like to do?
All right, if I recall correctly, and I can't believe I'm actually recalling this at all after 2 months, but all of our sites kind of cleared up, because I know we were seeing a lot of weird things, but after the dragon / unicorn / whatever mount that was, did something, and all of our site kind of returned to normal, right?
Once the unicorn made its way into the courtyard and touched Eldrick with its horn, then all of the visions appeared to sort of evaporate into kind of a greenish smoke and began wafting away as if on the breeze.
Okay. At this point, it kind of just mull over the information that he's kind of learned, but it is still a party, and he's still not convinced something's not going to go horribly wrong. So he's going to kind of I'm sure there's some food or refreshments somewhere nearby.
Yes.
So yeah, he's going to kind of make his way over to get food and refreshments, and let's kind of keep an eye on the courtyard for any potential trouble.
Almost as if on demand, as soon as Alanir begins to think, man, I could really use some refreshment, a young man with a serving tray and the livery of the Oaks estate walks up. Ambassador, is there anything that I can get for you?
Yes, I could use a snack and a beverage.
And make mine the double. You hear a voice, heavily accented. You're probably not entirely familiar with this sort of accent, but as you turn to kind of see the speaker, or where the voice is coming from, you see what is very clearly words that you're not certain you would ever put together normally, but a very handsome half-orc man in very fine clothing, and a well-dressed, very, very large beard with rings, gold and silver rings kind of all braided all into it, and jewels hanging from his beard. Very, very fine clothing as well. A dwarven man standing at his side as though they were just having a conversation, and they are walking up toward you. As these two individuals here at the bottom, as they are kind of making their way in your direction as well. The half-orc man gives you kind of a disarming smile and extends his hand. You are the ambassador, yes? You the elfish fellow?
Alanir will, falling back into the ambassador routine, will smile, shake his hand, and say, "Yes. And who do I have the pleasure of speaking to?"
Cornelius Session at your service. Is the correct honorific, my lord? I never understand these things where the foreign dignitaries are concerned. From where do you hail, and what is the proper honorific?
Well, I hail far to the west. And you may simply call me, my honorific is just ambassador. I am no lord. I am no noble. My honorific is I roll ambassador.
Understood. High Counselor of the Trades Guild of Heliogabalus, at your service. He offers you a very brisk, very firm handshake. And, well, I guess I'll be a High Lord, the dwarf next to him says. And he doesn't so much as offer you a handshake as he just kind of bumps his kind of really knotty, thick fist against your hand. As it's both of his hands are currently occupied with one is a very large mug of some bubbling substance, and the other appears to be kind of cradled around 2 or 3 small plates of food. He just kind of bumps his hand against yours. The name is Blade MacHullier of Garum, the Garum Thaindom. Pleasure. Charmed, in fact.
Do I know anything about where he says he's from?
Make an intelligence check, just a straight up intelligence check.
Okay.
First roll of the return campaign here, guys.
Why do I?
Let's see if Simrith can.
It's gonna be a 1.
It's gotta be. It's gonna be a 1.
Or a 20.
Give me a second.
They move things around.
Okay. They move things around and change some icons. Give me a second.
Yeah.
All right. Normal intelligence. Does intelligence roll, not intelligence save. Let me.
Okay.
And what do we have? Oh, a 20 total.
That's a dirty 20.
A dirty 20. I'll take it.
Okay. So, Garum, so Thaindom means that he is a High Lord over one of the smaller counties that are known as Thaindoms within the barony of Morov. Morov is broken up into 8, and he is one of the High Lords over one of those Thaindoms. Garum sounds dwarven. Doesn't sound like any place that you have been. You've probably heard of it, and the fact that he's a dwarf, you expect it is probably northern, closer to the in the northern part of Morov, closer to the Galena's mountains. But you've never been there before. You could probably point it out on a map if you were looking at one, but it's not something that you're particularly.
Okay. Well, I'll use that as a segue anyway. So I'll say, Garum, that is a province in Morov, is it not?
That would be correct. Yes. The city of Delve. We don't have a lot of elves in Delve. It's a bit of a joke. Sorry. I hold the honor of being the only dwarvish High Lord in the lower regions of the kingdom. But that's not to say that I consider myself above anyone else. Well, Cornelius, why don't you do some talking? He just takes a little bit of a drink from his mug and kind of looks at you over the rim of his mug as he's kind of chugging it back. Cornelius, the half-orc, chuckles a little bit. He says, Blade is not much for conversation. Very fierce warrior, I have heard. Very able statesman. Beloved by his people, but as long as he doesn't have to speak. You, on the other hand, you serve as ambassador, which means that you serve the crown in some capability.
In a fashion, yes.
And how is it that you have come to be in the service of the Baron, or the Baron to be, I suppose?
Well, when I first came to these lands, him and his companions had just formed an adventuring group, and so the crown thought it would be a good idea for me to be with them and get a look at the land of Bloodstone firsthand.
This is very interesting to me. An ambassador from Elven lands comes to be, comes to be a mercenary in a foreign kingdom. This is very strange, but this is a very alluring proposition. What can you tell me about the young nobleman, this man that you follow? Apologies. I'm very forward. I do not explain. I am how you say, what is word? Very proud to be associated with this language. This is very difficult. Very proud to be associated with the Faja of the Baron. Are you follow? Are you follow?
I'm not sure entirely what you mean.
The Faja. The what is word? The daddy. Eldrick Oak daddy. He is mentor to me. Friend. The Faja.
Eldrick's father was a mentor?
Yes, this is the word. Father. Sorry. My apologies. The common tongue is not spoken often in Pelishchuk. Is Orcish tongue, and Orcish tongue a bit more harsh on the ears. You do not speak it, I do not believe.
I'm afraid I do not.
There's a bit lost in translation. The Faja, the daddy, Lord Tatus Oak, he is good friend to me. He is a business associate from a long time with my mentor, the Baron Wingham of a previous Baron. I say this, I know the Faja, I do not know the son. I come to ask you, as you follow the son, I apologize. Have you nice? Are you having nice time?
I'm having quite the time at this party, but I do believe I get what you're saying.
If you provide some insights to me on how to approach the son, the Baron, the Eldrick. Yes?
I will say that I do not know the father Titus very well. In fact, I'm not even sure if I've met him yet, maybe once. But his son is very much, I would say, a born leader. He's a man who would sacrifice his left arm if he thought it would honestly help someone.
This is good to hear. And the idea that he carries with him, or has serving him, the elves, and he kind of cranes his head, or cranes his neck to kind of gesture back to Mykaria, who's standing entirely alone, looking very awkward, by one of the door to the stairwell, back up into the manor, and people are just giving her an entirely wide berth. Bloodstone Kingdom is very human, yes? Is the idea that my people, the Pelishchuks, the Half-Orcs, you call, the Rageborn, may be accepted by the new Baron, and and my friend Blade as well, that your friend is open to having others serve him. It is very, what is word? Friendly, yes? No, friendly is not the right word. But you understand what I say, yes?
If you're looking for the word tolerant, yes.
Tolerant. What is this word? Tolerant.
Let's just say he's understanding and judges people by their actions, not what race they are.
Yes! He kind of, before he's able to catch himself, he slaps you on the shoulder as, a moment of kinship. Then looks at his hand, looks at you, and just kind of wipes the hand, or shakes the hand off, and kind of tucks it behind himself. Looks almost embarrassed. I thank you for these words. It gives me hope. Enjoy the party, yes?
Yes, and you do the same.
And Blade kind of puts his mug down a little bit. It was truly a pleasure. If you're ever in Delve, well, like you'll stick out a little. I mean, come and request an audience at my manor, and I would be happy to receive you. Excuse me, if you would.
Of course, High Lord, and he'll give him a little nod.
He kind of busies himself again with his mug and begins to, with Cornelius in tow, who's still kind of nodding and smiling at you as he kind of walks away. Kind of gives you a couple of little half bows as he walks away, but then they both kind of excuse themselves from you and start over toward some of the other partygoers.
I don't think Eldrick knows exactly what he's become the Baron of. He's got some characters.
Is there anything additional that you would like to...
I brought most of the characters here with me, so,
No, nothing specific. Yeah, I'll go ahead and get my drink and food if I haven't already.
Yeah.
And I might wander on over to Mycaria and just kind of stand to some company there.
What is your passive perception?
Oh, my passive perception is pretty good. It is? Look it up. 20.
Oh, okay. So then as you turn away from Cornelius and Blade, or High Lord Holier, and start walking toward Mycaria, sorry, you notice that your trio or quartet of companions that are attending, your erstwhile companions, the Sioux Knights and Miranda, have started to kind of divest themselves or move away a bit from the Baroness Sylvia, who's in conversation with this pair of individuals right here, and they start walking over toward behind Eldrick together. Fionn gives you a little bit of a look, it's kind of a smile as you make eye contact. Diego starts to follow, but then as he gets around about the side of the Baroness, she reaches out, like doesn't even take a beat, reaches out and grabs him basically by the arm and kind of not gently, but not like a jerk or anything like that, but very firmly pulls him in and holds onto his arm. He looks a little surprised at first and then pleased. And then he dives into the conversation that the other four or the other three individuals were having, as Miranda and Stana and Fionn take off across the courtyard toward Eldrick.
What kind of an entourage does Eldrick have around him right now?
Interestingly, he is actually surrounded by people. He is actually walking up into a group. 2 women and 2 men, 3 of which appear to have something of a military bearing. The 2 men and 1 of the women are very smartly dressed, like very very clean lines, all three of them appear to be wearing some sort of uniform. Not specifically Bloodstone Army uniform, but it looks, and they're not even the same uniform, but they all look to be in a uniform-like garb. No armor, no weapons being carried. The other one, the one closest to you, is an older lady, very clearly dressed in the kind of gray, white, and red robe ensemble of a cleric of Ilmater. And you probably have heard her referred to earlier as the High Painbearer, which would be the High Priestess of Ilmater in the Bloodstone Kingdom. Or at least in the city of Heliogopolis. You don't know the other three.
Okay. This actually might be a good idea to try and maybe get Mycaria out of the courtyard and back to a room. Or back to her room, or whatever.
It's kind of a...
That sounds spicy.
You want to get out of here kind of thing?
No, it's more of a...
Like
you know what? She's clearly sticking out in this party, so I'll kind of be like, hey, Mycaria, do you have a specific reason that you're here? Or, you know, it might be a good idea to go find a Mycaria.
Yeah, interestingly enough, you haven't seen Mycaria in quite some time.
Oh. Oh, well, I was waiting for her. She said she was going to go do something. You think I should go find her?
I think that would be an excellent idea.
Okay. And she will start wandering.
Jesus. Can I intercept Miranda? So I'm sorry. Go ahead. I didn't mean to step on anyway.
No, it's okay. I want to go over to Eldrick because he's been waiting literal months for this moment. But I want to go to Eldrick.
Months. Many much months.
Eldrick, about the same time that Alanir is wondering where he can go and get some food, you step away from the big three, the High Marshal, the Admiral, and the High Magistrate. I think he's the High Magistrate, the Chief Magistrate. And you step into a quartet of people, at least two of which you've very much been anticipating this moment that you finally had the opportunity to speak with them face to face. You kind of excuse yourself and kind of step into their midst, where the four of them are having not exactly lively, but very quiet, polite, and seemingly personable conversation. The Lady Beeling, who you are already very familiar with, is holding onto the arm of the other lady, who you noticed a bit earlier. She's the kind of the brown skin, kind of tight gray hair, probably mid to late 50s maybe. Very regal bearing, very, very confident sort of posture. And the two of them seem to be just listening as the one of the men, who's kind of a tall, bald, bearded, very clearly Bloodstone military or ex-Bloodstone military, very dour, very grim, but also done up in the trappings of a noble lord or a noble high lord, is having a nearly one-sided conversation and or argument with a younger man who is wearing kind of an offshoot of a Bloodstone military uniform as well. But he is a very quiet, he appears to be very quiet, no less confident, but he seems to be sort of weathering the storm, I guess. He's not particularly tall, not particularly like muscular or broad. Looks to be like his mid to late 30s. Blonde hair, no beard, no facial hair of any kind, and just very quiet, very watchful. he answers or continues the conversation with the other fellow, which you know to be High Lord Race Alarin, which is you know that because he's your dad's boss. He's the High Lord of the Banakath Thaindom, which you are currently in.
I would assume based on the information I have about him and my father being brohams that I probably know this guy. Maybe not necessarily super well, but I've certainly seen him a number of times at the house, yeah.
You have definitely seen him before, probably not at Oakhart, but certainly at one or more state functions.
Mm-hmm.
Though you and your father, you were not included a lot in your father's. You
Yep.
know almost nothing about his military career, and you very little bit about his business career. But you do know that being the High Lord of Banakath Thaindom, your father reports directly to him. Your father is a subordinate lord to Lord Alarin.
Right, but I'd recognize this guy on site, right?
Oh, absolutely. Think kind of a darker haired, darker bearded, oh crap, I can't remember, the strong arm alchemist from,
Gotcha.
yeah, so that's kind of the way that I picture Race Alarin. He is
You gonna flex and his shirt explode?
not so much that, but he's big. He's very well taken care of, very well built, clearly very strong. But whereas Armstrong was sort of kind of a jovial fellow, this guy is 100% all business all the time, and he's not a pleasant individual.
Gotcha.
And whatever tirade he is currently on, the smaller man, who you know to be Marshal Sebastian Killian, is sort of taking it all in stride. He's answering, he's contributing to the conversation in only very short bursts, basically just allowing the storm to blow over him. And Race Alarin is a storm, 100%. The other two that are in the conversation are mostly spectators. But the lady Beeling, as she notices that you have turned their direction and are stepping into their sort of midst, she kind of raises her voice and cuts off Race Alarin, says, "Your Excellency, it is a pleasure. So good of you to afford us some of your time. Have you met these others? Or are introductions required?"
I think I know who everyone is. Certainly, High Lord Alaron I'm fairly familiar with. It is good to see you here, sir. I appreciate you attending this fine event. I hope the drinks, and he holds up his glass, this evening are to your liking.
Very fine, young Oaks, or I should say, young Baron Oaks. He doesn't quite smile, but his lips turn up to where it looks like he may have attempted to smile and failed. It was very good of your mother to include us in the celebration. All of Banakath is very proud.
Absolutely. I look forward to working with you in the coming years. I think I have much to learn. You have quite the to hear it from my father. You have quite the record under your belt.
It pleases me to hear this. Your father, Lord Titus, is a close friend. I am honored that he has spoken of you, has spoken of me to you. And I too, very much look forward to our association. If you were anything like your father, we will have a long and fruitful association, I am certain.
Oh, I suspect that'll be the case.
Have you met our young Marshal, Excellency?
I have not yet had the pleasure, but I must say that I have very much looking forward to meeting you. As he turns to Sebastian, after I saw your name on the guest list, Marshal.
Well, like our esteemed High Lord, Excellency, I am very honored that you would think of us. The wardens are not often anyone's first thought. It is very much appreciated that you do us this honor. And I, too, have been very much looking forward to speaking with you. Your reputation, of a sorts, precedes you a great deal. Make me an insight check, Eldrick.
I will absolutely make you an insight check. I add 7 to that fantastical number. Let's see if I can remember how to roll dice. Survey says I got a 19 on the die, 26 total. Phew, that was almost magical.
If there was if the word placid was a person, it would be Sebastian Killian. You looking at him and making eye contact with him for the first time, his eyes are so light a blue that they're almost they feel like they're almost white. And once you look at him, you get a bit of a chill at first. He's not like he doesn't have very many characteristics that would make him necessarily a memorable person to look at. Like scanning through a crowd, you would probably never look at him twice. But up close, there is a presence to this man that it's just undeniable. But then it kind of washes over you that of all of the people at this celebration, like there is just a clamor of activity that's going on. He appears to somehow be apart from it all. It's almost an ethereal quality. He is like the soul of calm.
Well, let's see what we can do about that.
He offers a hand. If you take it to shake.
Eldrick will take his hand and shake it. He'll give him a nice firm handshake, and he'll say, I suspect most people don't think of the wardens because most people have not been far enough out of our borders to see the sorts of things that can sneak in. You do a great service to this country, and you have our thanks.
To be honored twice in such a rapid succession, it is very good to make your acquaintance, Excellency. May I introduce the Lady Basra Fooling? He gestures to the fourth, as yet unintroduced member of this little fivesome. You've seen Basra Fooling tonight. You have probably seen her in passing, or at least you're familiar with her, as she is the Grand Master of the Order of the Golden Cup. You've probably never spoken to her directly, or never had the opportunity to speak or to be spoken to by her.
I mean, this is probably the first time we've ever even been in the same place, right? Because like, after she replaced the guy who tried to get us killed, we were basically out of this country for forever, right? Or was she at the party was she at the birthday party?
She was not. It is unlikely that you've never been in the same building together, but you've probably never had the reason to be in the same room. Mm-hmm. It's like, well, I was going to say Yoda and the Younglings is a bad comparison because Yoda took a very hands-on approach with the Younglings, but there's that degree of separation. You're not even a full member of the Order yet. Mm-hmm. And she is the Grand Master of the Order. New Grand Master. She's only held that title for maybe 4 months, 5 months, but she's been in the Bloodstone Kingdom for much longer than that. Mm-hmm. She turns, and her voice, and I'm not going to do it justice, but it is deeper than you expected from her. It's almost like she's almost like a smoker. But it's very exotic. She has a very exotic. Make me either a history or intelligence check, whatever choice you decide to make.
We're gonna go with history. That seems like a great idea with a +8. Does she look like a field person or does she look like a desk person? If you know what I mean.
Her hands are whenever she offers you her hands are rough. They're not soft. You get the feeling that she is very, very. She probably comes from a background of being very hands-on. But
Gotcha.
again, the Order of the Golden Cup is not a military order. It is a knightly order, but it's an order of knights who care for the populace, who take care of people who are suffering or in need, and they get
Right, but
involved
there's
in
like
military matters when necessary.
right, but there's definitely a difference between like Lana Beeling as a high pay bearer of Ilmater probably gets down in the mud a little bit versus some of these other high priests. I'm guessing probably they stand in the front of the church and they're like, "What's up, bros?" Right. So like, there's certainly the people that get out of the office sort of deal. So
Yeah,
yep.
you would very much consider Basra Fooling as one of the latter.
Okay. I got a
but
19 on a history check.
you place her almost immediately. She is
Mhm.
she is from Kalashite descent.
Mhm.
She hails from very far off Kalimshan. That's the accent. Um,
That's a hot deserty place, yes?
it is, yeah.
Or okay. Gotcha.
And she says it is very good to finally make your acquaintance, Lord Baron Oaks. We have been traveling in the same circles for a very long time now, and never have had the opportunity to speak. I am very intrigued at the portents that your somewhat meteoric rise have led to or will lead to. I am very pleased, very honored to be in your presence. She gives you a very deep, low bow.
Eldrick will nod at that, and I certainly appreciate you coming. And he'll extend a hand for a handshake as well, because he's got some respect for this lady.
She'll
Is she
shake it.
wearing anything that indicates she's Order of the Golden Cup? Like, is
A
that part
very,
of her?
very simple medallion around her neck.
Mhm.
That is just blink and you miss it because it's kind of within the folds of her what appears to be like a jacket. But it's the symbol that represents her. It's a shield with the golden cup with wings.
Indeed. I'm glad you're here in the city, and I welcome you to our home. I hope that you and I can speak more. Did you get my letter on your way to the city?
I did indeed. I actually received it whenever I first arrived, just yesterday. I agree with you that there is much for us to discuss. While I understand that you are a very busy man this evening and have much to attend to, I must say, I would expect nothing less of the great Eldrick Oaks. But there is some urgency. I would like to speak with you as in private as soon as you can manage. But I would not wish to take away from your evening. So, whenever you can fit me in, I will be waiting.
Well, there are indeed many people to speak with, but you will hear from me tomorrow sometime, I suspect.
She kind of reaches to take your hand again and kind of leans in and presses her chest to yours. You're not a order symbol or anything like that, but it's kind of like a hug, but with your hands clasped between. And while she's there, she kind of whispers, not exactly whispers in your ear, but she says, "And His Majesty sends his regards as well."
Eldrick will nod at that, but not say anything. Unsure whether or not she's trying to be a little, quiet about it or what. But
her voice was definitely lowered.
Yeah, he'll give her a good nod at that one, so that it's like obvious. Certainly appreciated.
Well, do not let us keep you. That there are many. This is Beeling at this point in time. Do not let us keep you, Your Excellency. I know that you have many people who wish a moment of your attention. If there's anything else that you require, we are, of course, your humble servants.
Greatly appreciated, and I'm very happy that you are all here. Marshal Killian, I think there is one thing that I owe you before I go and speak with the rest of these fantastic guests. I believe I owe you an apology for an incident between two of our subordinates.
Think nothing of it, Your Excellency. I was apprised of the matter this morning, and appropriate measures are being taken to ensure that the more zealous members of our fellowship are reined in a bit. It is truly I who should be apologizing to you, as well. We'll leave it at that. The members of my fellowship are very good at what they do, but they can be a little bit overzealous. And if your noble personage was at all offended by our methods or our demeanor, then that fault rests with me. It is certainly something that we can speak about in greater detail at another time, if you wish. But of course, there is nothing for you to apologize for.
Eldrick will he'll let his holy aura wash over the group, because that's how he do, and he'll put a friend, because he's Eldrick's quite a bit bigger than this guy, actually.
Yeah.
At 6 foot and like 200 pounds. He's going to put a friendly hand on his shoulder and say, well, still, I apologize. And I appreciate the diligence of you, the people who work for you. I do think we should speak again. I think there are many ways with which the resources at my command can assist you in the great work that you and your organization do for this country. And if you'll excuse me, I'll get back to you in the coming days.
As the Lady Grandmaster so aptly said before, we remain your servants.
And then Eldrick will turn to head to the next group. Did I get anything out of this guy by just straight up apologizing or anything? Like, did he even twitch an eyebrow? Like,
not at all.
Oh my goodness.
Not in the least. He go ahead and make me an insight check just to see what you can get, what you can glean from him.
You're just waiting to see if I get a 20 on this. I see how it is. I get a 17.
The manner in which he turned the apology back on you almost immediately suggests that he was expecting it. But
plans for all the occasions. I see how this is.
You get the feeling that this guy, you'd have to wake up pretty early in the morning to get one over on him.
That's good to hear. That's actually really good to hear.
As it should be for someone in his position.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. I'll be honest, that's the most reassuring thing ever, the fact that he's completely unfazed by anything. Because I'm going to guess not a lot of people get an apology from a Baron, specifically on their first meeting.
That's a pretty safe assumption.
Yup. Anyway, I'm going to head over, I guess, unless I'm going to get jumped by the three ladies behind me.
Not at all, actually, as you're only dimly aware of the situation as you're.
Well, because there's just a huge crowd of people, right? You're only showing the characters. Right. There's a whole bunch of other people here, right?
There's tons of other people. There's probably 3 times as many people in total. That are actually wandering through the courtyard, mostly servants and various performers and things like that, guards that are walking through as well. But you're right. You you probably given how engrossed you were and how much you were looking forward to this particular meeting, the idea that someone else passed by you, you probably were not like. You're not completely ignorant of the fact that there are people that you know that are moving around near you, and you know where thoros'l is, generally speaking.
Yep. You're damn right I know where thoros'l is. You got to keep an eye on him. He's about to punch somebody. Somebody important.
You are not
Maybe
mobbed.
what she says here.
You are certainly not mobbed by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, thoros'l, as you see people moving toward Eldrick, and you, even as you kind of dimly realize, oh, that's actually people I know, you recognize that while they're moving in the direction that Eldrick was standing, they're actually coming to you.
Oh, good. Because I was more going to try to talk to Miranda, so this works out pretty well.
Yeah, so Miranda walks up and without any sort of thought for or observance to protocol or anything like that, she just comes up and she just gives you a big hug.
He'll hug her back.
Stana and Fionn, kind of stand at her sides as she kind of stands back at arm's length a little bit. She says, "Gods, it's good to see you. It has been entirely too long. What has it been, a month?"
It's been a little more than that, I think, but it's been quite some time. In other terms, I guess, a lot has happened. That's for sure. Are you well? Are all of you well?
Insight check. Quick insight check.
Yes, sir.
That
would be a natural 20. There you go. 30.
Whenever you ask, are you well, there's a look that goes across her face that says, absolutely not.
Whose face?
Miranda's.
Or?
Yeah,
okay.
Miranda's. There is a month's worth of history that flashes across her face, and none of it good. In just that instant, but in that instant, in a very decidedly not like Miranda way, it essentially vanishes, and she puts on a smile. There's a little bit of moisture around her eyes. You don't know if it's from just the emotion of the moment, the reunion between the two of you, or from something else. But that is the only, after just that one brief instant, that is the only indication that she may not be telling the truth. When she says, "Oh, it could not be better. I am, as you've seen, I am serving as something of a protege to Her Excellency, the Baroness Sylvia. Alex is great. Diogo and Fionn and Stana have come to visit me in Praca whenever I'm there, and things are just going just really well. How are things with you? Where have you been all this time?"
We went on a bit of an adventure, as you can imagine.
Haven't I seen you around town? Recently, I mean. Yesterday was my birthday, and the lady, Her Excellency, Her Excellency took me out on the town.
Oh? Where was it that you think you saw me? I haven't been out too much.
She kind of turns to look back, kind of like brushes off the question a little bit, turns to look back to see where, who is standing around her. You recognize kind of a check to see, okay, who's listening, who could be. Oh, here and there. We went and saw a show or two down such and such way. Not far from where you guys did your investigation a few days ago.
Oh, maybe that was it. I've been meeting had a couple of meetings in that the Starry Night. That's what it's called, isn't it?
You know
Yeah,
what? I
right.
think that her Excellency told me that's the big tavern up on the walls that with a really nice view. I haven't been there yet, but I'm really hoping that I get to go. Have you and Eldrick and I saw Alanir around, didn't I? He's here too?
He is. He's here somewhere, probably near the tree. You know how much he likes trees.
She kind of gives a little bit of a laugh at that. That at least appears to be genuine. The laugh.
Well, if you're interested in seeing the Starry Night and having a drink there, I can speak with the Baroness and make sure you have leave.
Oh well, that that I don't know if that'll be possible. We were Her Excellency was expecting to leave out after this evening. Business calls us back to Praca, and of course I need to go back and see. I need to take care of Alex.
Is something the matter with your brother?
Oh, of course not. No. He's just he's so much. He takes so much looking after, and he'll be worried if I'm away from him for any period of time. He took a bit ill lately and wasn't able to come to Heliogabalus with us. He's back in Ostel. But I'm not so much worried about that. It's just how he worries.
Sure. You said you'd be staying for at least another night?
Well, tonight, and then I think the expectation is that we'll be on a ship in the morning to return to Praca. You should really come and see Praca. It is, well, it's nothing like, well, it's kind of almost everything like Heliogabalus, but it in a completely different way. It's so beautiful. And Mauricio's temple is going to be there. Diego's hard at work he's calling it, crap, I don't have the name. The House of Rubies, I think, or some such thing. You know how Mauricio has a flair for the dramatic, but he's staying here. Did you know that? He's staying here in Banakath. He took a parcel of land up in the woods, I think, and he's making his home here. And Diego and Fionn and Stana are going to keep the temple for him. Isn't that amazing?
I've heard that. Yes. Just time out of character real quick.
Sure.
What time of day is it?
Right now,
Yeah,
it's
obviously.
a couple hours after sunset. We're talking. Okay. The party's been going on for maybe an hour and a half at this point in time, and people started showing up right at sunset.
How long do these parties usually run?
They'll go into the. They'll go. These kinds of things can go on into the early hours, but given that the clientele or the attendees are more for business than for pleasure, maybe not much past midnight.
Right.
It just depends on the Oaks, honestly.
Would you like to go into one of these side rooms, Miranda, and sit down? Maybe tell me a little bit more about what's going on.
She gets a little bit of a scandalous look on her face. Thoros'l. I didn't know. If
Thoros'l ever blushed, he would, but he never does. So.
I am 16 now. But
poor man.
She actually, as she says that, and you see her gaze kind of wander off to her left toward Eldrick. Do you think that there would be time? Well, I wouldn't want to miss Eldrick. But look, he's kind of a machine, isn't he?
He's definitely in his element.
Nothing can stop Eldrick.
That's true. I'm not sure why we should. Are you look? Is he?
No,
What are you
I
hinting?
didn't mean anything. I didn't mean anything like that. He's what? He's
No.
he's just kind of all over the place, right? What did you think I meant?
Sometimes I worry that he's in over his head, especially at things like this. But
What else is new? But he always seems to pull us through, or at least he did. When before.
honestly, though, Miranda, I would love to tell you what we've been up to for the last 4 to 6 weeks. We went through the Underdark, did some really amazing things, and if this party does wrap up a little early, I'll make sure you have leave to come, and maybe we can catch up more at the Starry Night.
That would be really great, thoros'l. I really hope that we can do that. And if not, please come and see us in Praga. It's only maybe by boat. I think it's only maybe a day away. A couple more on horseback, but it's really something else, and you should see where we're set up, and how things have changed. I mean, she kind of gestures to herself, and Miranda does not look anything like what you recall Miranda. The almost always, she just kind of the road clothes and the beat up shapeless hat, always covered in dirt, sometimes in blood. That girl that you spent time with, months ago, versus the young woman that you're seeing now, in just completely resplendent in her nice pretty green dress, and her hair's all done up, she's all made up. There's really no comparison. I mean, obviously it's clearly her, but line up the two, the Miranda that you traveled with and this Miranda, and there's like, you wouldn't even recognize, like, you wouldn't even be able to tell that they're the same person.
Where are you and the Baroness staying, if I might?
Well, we were staying at the palace, or we were supposed to stay at the palace, but then something happened, and that fell through. So there's a place that we're our kind of our backup is a place called the Arms, I think. The Bloodstone Arms, maybe. It's your hotel, or you're in.
No, that's fantastic. I think that's where we've been holed up for the last week, or feels like week. That was in 2 days, 3 days.
Who's paying for it, thoros'l? Who's paying?
Oh, is that right? Oh, it really is funny how these things work out. It's a really small world. Well, you know what? Maybe we'll get an opportunity to talk before I leave in the morning. If you have a few moments. I really haven't had an opportunity. We only got in last evening for sort of my birthday celebration, and we were out really, really late. And it was just sort of, we just kind of flew in and flew back out. But if you say you're staying there, well, then maybe you and I can go for a walk or something like that.
Absolutely. We can make sure that if you didn't get exactly what you wanted for your birthday, the Bloodstone Arms can provide, of course.
Is that right? Well, you play a dangerous game offering a girl sort of carte blanche like that.
Eldrick's paying for our stay, and I think I can.
Well, I was about I was about to say that something has changed in you, but no, you're still the same. You are. It is really, really very nice to see you again, thoros'l. I hope that you're keeping, well, you're keeping yourself, and of course Eldrick and Alanir and all of our friends. I hope that you're keeping safe, and well, that you think of me occasionally, and Alex too, of course. Mauricio, and she kind of grabs the two girls that are kind of standing at her side and kind of gathers them in, and all of us, and know that we're doing okay, and we're together, and that's the important thing.
Well, it is good to see you all well.
Likewise, and if you get an opportunity to speak to Eldrick, send him my way, would you? I would very much like to catch up.
Well, if you see him walking between little groups, I'm sure he wouldn't mind talking to you, even if he is a little bit busy.
That's nice. That's nice of you to say. Well, I'll let you get back to glowering in the corner, or whatever it is that you were doing. Again, so good to see you, and I really do hope that it works out for us, that we get a chance just to talk, because, well, you should hear about how things have been going on my side of the world as well, and I think you'd be proud of me.
He'll nod at that.
She kind of half turns and looks back to see that the Baroness is starting to make her way toward your little gathering with Diergo in tow, and they kind of you see that her kind of make eye contact with Miranda, and Miranda, her demeanor shifts very, very slightly, and she kind of turns and she gives you a not a bow, a very formal curtsy. The two girls that are with her do the same. Stana's eyes linger on you a bit longer than Fion's or Miranda's, and then they turn and hurry back toward the Baroness. It is about that time that Eldrick is making his way over to the next group, and Alanir and Mykaria are making their move, getting ready to start wandering through the courtyard.
Are they heading to a sweet bedroom?
Are they?
I don't know. That was the implication earlier. What's up?
No,
but at that moment, as Mykaria agrees with Alanir, all of these things have been happening. Sorry?
Nothing. Keep going.
Those things have been happening about the same time as all these other things that are going on. And as Mykaria says, you know what, I think I'll do that, and starts to head toward wherever it was that she was going, potentially with Alanir in tow, there is a clinking of what sounds like flatware on a crystal glass that begins to draw everyone's attention back to the position of honor, where Eldrick had originally appeared from. And you see that Madeline and Quillen are standing side by side. It is Quillen who is making the noise, but it is Madeline who speaks up first. Says, "Ladies and gentlemen, noble friends and honored guests, that time has come. If someone sees my son out there, please let him know that his mother needs him. In just a few moments, the ceremony will begin." Eldrick, are you there? Kindly extricate yourself from your adoring fans, and we need to get about the business of this whole thing.
Eldrick will raises his hand. Yep, coming. And he'll whoever's directly to his left, he'll kind of nudge and be like, "We all know who's really in charge right now," and then he'll head on up there.
interestingly enough, the person, like, as you were turning to do that, the person that you lay eyes on is Pardik Talendar.
Mother trucker! I knew Kool-Aid Man was happening. Okay.
And he's got two.
That'll stop me in my tracks.
He's got two young women who are kind of standing, not arm in arm with him, but are very close to him. It's very clear the three of them have been engaged in somewhat lively conversation and even livelier drinking. And whenever when you turn and say that, he just has this look on his face like, you don't say. And he just raises a glass and says no more. As you...
Eldrick stops in his tracks for a half second and says, do I know either of the girls? Like, are they anybody I recognize from anywhere?
You recognize them not because you are closely familiar with them, but because you've had them pointed out to you before. It is Gina McNarn, the Luckbringer of Timora, and Narda and Sarah, the Gold Eye of Joaquin. They're the youngest two ladies in attendance that are on the guest list, that are personages, and they are in their own rights high priestesses of their respective faiths.
You'd say young. Both of them are at least 10 years older than Eldrick is. Reminder for the crowd: Eldrick is 19.
Yeah, they both appear to be in either their late 20s or early 30s.
Right. How old is Pardik? I don't know that we ever knew that.
I don't think that you've ever asked that. You imagine?
I mean, how old does he look?
Probably about the same, maybe mid to late 30s.
Gotcha. Well, Eldrick, being a little stunned at Pardik there, he's not... we exchanged some words. He's not necessarily going to throw him under the bus, and he'll just be like, Pardik, I'm glad you could attend.
Well, you were most gracious, Your Excellency, in extending the invitation. It is quite an unexpected honor to see you again so soon. But as you say, you should listen to the lady in charge.
I think we both know how that works, and he'll head on towards Madeline.
All right. All right. So as the party kind of continues to kind of circulate, it's quieting down a little bit, but there's clearly some additional setup that has to be done once you get to your mother. Quillen is standing there. There are a small army of servants who are bringing various pieces and bits and bobs out, the ceremonial accoutrement, as it were. And
Hey,
Quillen...
Real quick for a second. On the way from point A to point B, do I, given that Miranda was just talking to thoros'l as I was kind of turning to beeline that way, what are the chances I make eye contact with her?
Oh, 100%. And in fact, as you turn away from Pardik, it's like a double whammy. Like you're
oh my God.
completely unexpected, or completely not expecting to see Pardik. And then whenever you see Miranda flanked by the two Sunites and see what has become of her, how she has changed.
Mm-hmm.
And the look that she gives you is a mixture between kind of like relief and like a joyful moment of reunion, and a brief flash of disappointment, but then the cat that ate the canary. The very next thing, like the look that you get from her is the cat that ate the canary. And then there is a flash of a very different memory that kind of overlays Miranda.
Don't you do this to me.
And you know exactly the one that I'm talking about. And
Alex's memory?
Yes. And there's a flash of heat, and you see... Make me an insight check. So, real quick.
Oh my gosh. That would
Oh,
be
yeah.
a dirty 20.
You see that heat reflected in her eyes. And then the moment passes as you have to walk past, and she turns to face the Baroness, who you still haven't spoken to, by the way, Baroness Sylvia. And
That is true. That is true. The insult is great, I'm sure. So as I'm continuing on to Mama Oaks, I'm going to use that little gift that I got from my magical ringworm and hit Miranda with a message.
okay, what is the message?
Pleasant to see you. Seems out of place. Are you well?
Okay. Do you have? Are you watching? Like, do you look back over your shoulder at her as you send the message, or are you just you
So I
fire
have
and
to
forget?
have. I'm pretty sure I have to have eye contact to send the message, but I don't think I have to have eye contact, or I have to see her to send
Line
it.
of sight,
But
right?
I don't think I have to have line of sight to receive whatever her reply is. So I'll make eye contact. The stuff you just described will happen. He'll know that he can't stop because he's got to keep going. He'll
Right.
hit her with the message, and then he'll head on to Madeline.
Got it. Okay.
So
Then
he won't see her face, but whatever she sends back, he should get, if anything.
you see her flinch as you send her the message, and that's it. There is no response.
Okay.
At least
Interesting.
no immediate response.
Now that would, at least from Eldrick's perspective, assuming this is actually Miranda, Eldrick's done this to Miranda before. Yes, I'm fairly certain that's the case.
Yes, because you've had this power since
Oh,
before
a
you
long
parted
time.
ways. Yeah.
Yep. Gotcha.
I'll grant you that she spares you a glance back. Like she's talking to, maybe exchanging a few quick words with the Baroness. She flinches as you start the connection, and she glances back at you, and you can see just a little bit of shock on her face. Maybe just that she was startled.
But she does not reply. Gotcha.
But she doesn't reply.
Okay. All right. Well, then Eldrick will make a mental note to find her, and then remember that he hasn't spoken to the Baroness yet. But he's too late, so he's already over with Madeline. So back into the preparation. Sorry.
Great. So then we're going to shift once again. Makaria, not Mykaria,
Yes.
but Makaria. You've been sitting probably for an hour now, maybe a little less. Just kind of just sitting on your bed reading. There are two strapping young soldiers, one man, one woman, who are sitting in various chairs. That one is perched in front of this door, not blocking the door, but just sitting kind of next to it, and one is within 10 or so feet from your bedside. They're not speaking like to you. They're not necessarily like just keeping watchful eye on you, not staring at you or anything like that. But they're also not speaking with each other. They're just sitting and waiting. What are you doing?
Where did the twins go? Did they just drop me off and leave, essentially?
Whenever the twins brought you into the room, they stayed with you until these two showed up, and then they excused themselves and returned to the environs beyond your room.
I need to go to the bathroom. Which one of you is the lucky one?
Oh, by all means, lady. The lady guard stands up. It'll just be, well, you know the way. The Jakes for your room are just around the corner, right over here. Oh, I'm not even facing there. Let's focus ping. There we go. So you just go out through these two sets of doors and then around. It's a shared sort of situation with Eldrick's chambers. There is a
Awesome.
separate bathroom over on this side if you prefer.
So as soon as I'm past and in the little toilet area, I am going to cast Dimension Door.
Okay.
Place myself where I would assume my Karia is.
Okay.
Like in the hallway, because Makaria knows where she left my Karia.
Okay. All right. So you took a couple steps ahead of where I thought you were going. So let me take you back just one step. So you get up. The woman gets up. The other gentleman stands up and makes the motion to follow, but the doors are locked. The doors to your room are in fact locked. So this woman moves to go open the door for you to let you out and to escort you into the restroom. And as she reaches out to put her hand on the door, she stops. Just stops, like mid grasp or mid reach.
Ruh-roh.
Am I stopped?
No, I mean you're waiting for her to open the door for you. But as she reaches for the door, she reaches out, like has the key, puts the key in the lock, turns it, pulls the key out, reaches to actually open the door, but before her hand actually touches the knob, she just stops. Like she hesitates. And then the moment passes, and she's still just standing there. Hand an inch away from the door, the doorknob.
I'm going to take my finger and just push her head.
And you push against her head, and she does not budge.
And I'm just going to whip out my wand and do it right there.
Okay, so you pull out your wand, and you're going through the motions of the spell, and you hear a knock at the door. And a small voice, as you are beginning to cast your spell, a small voice says, "May I come in?" It is not a voice you recognize, but it is loud enough that you are able to hear it through the door. Do you continue your spell?
I will hold. I'm assuming there's really not much point in me saying you can't come in, but I wouldn't mind you coming in. That is for sure.
That's kind of the way that it works. But you hear the door, you see the knob begin to turn, and the door opens just a tiny bit. Oh, bother.
Oh, here.
And you're pushing on the girl, the woman, and she just won't move. And the door begins to open, and it hits against her hand, and maybe it's open maybe an inch. Oh, bother. Okay, one moment.
I could have just come to you.
You wait, and you start to see a whitish mist start to push its way through the door, and the mist billows for a moment and actually wafts up towards you, and it's a fairly voluminous cloud of white mist that billows up around you, kind of swirls around you for a moment, and then begins to coalesce on the floor behind you. What do you do?
I shut the door after it's all in.
As you shut the door, you turn, and the mist cloud is gone, and in its place stands a little girl in a
Oh,
white
oh
dress.
no! Oh no! Oh no!
All right, out of character, real quick.
How many hands does she have?
Well, so out of character, would Eldrick know, or would Macaria know anything about a little girl from Eldrick at all? Like, just.
Would she? Eldrick, have you discussed
Yeah, that's what I want to know.
have you discussed anything about any little girls?
Oh,
with
I
Macaria?
mean the number. I mean, we traveled for a good while. I would have told her about finding the first stone, and I don't know how much detail I would have went into, but I definitely would have told her about the creepy little girl that I exploded her hand, and I guarantee Alanir would have chimed in with a, "Yeah, that bee killed my bird."
Okay.
What was
So
that bird's
just
name again?
itty bitty bit.
Condor.
Falcon.
Goodbye,
Falcor.
Condor.
Condor.
Yeah, a hawk named Condor.
You need to run.
So standing before you, you turn around and look, and you see behind the little girl is the other oak house guard, who is standing similarly stock still, completely unmoving. Doesn't seem to notice you. Doesn't seem to notice the little girl. Just kind of looking somewhat impassively in the direction of the door where he was watching as you and the other woman were getting ready to leave. And between the two of you is this little girl. She maybe stands 3.5 foot tall. White, very pretty white dress, goes down to about to her knees. Very frilly. Her hair is bone white. Her skin is very pale white. She has very bright blue eyes, and her hands are just kind of behind her. She strikes kind of a very shy kind of pose where, like, she's maybe drawing on the carpet with the toe of her shoe. I thought perhaps it was time for us to meet. The voice that comes from the little girl is decidedly not a little girl. You are
you?
You are Macaria.
Yes, I am, and I'm assuming you are the one that Eldrick met a long time ago.
In
Or
Austin.
not long, but
Or sorry, Ostrich.
well before.
That is correct. And we're going to take just a short break. Be right back. And we are back. Sorry about that. Daddy detail. Oh, perfect music for our return. I hope you guys can hear that. That's actually really, really good. Very, very fortuitous. When we left, we were enjoying a meeting of sorts. A little girl has made her way into Macaria's chambers and said, "I believe it is time for us to meet." What is your response to that, Macaria?
Would it be more accurate to say it is perhaps time for you to make yourself known to me as you've been following? And then she'll raise an eyebrow.
After a fashion, I suppose. But not quite. You and I have perhaps danced this dance for quite some time. while this form may be new to you, this name, this is of course not the only one I have. Would this perhaps be a bit more comfortable for you? She gestures with her hand, the mist returns, billows up to man height, and whenever the mist coalesces, you find yourself staring at a very familiar figure. Netheril himself.
Yeah.
It is so good to see you again, child.
Karya's lips peel away and a very feral urchin just snarl. Not a grin, just a snarl.
No kiss for your former master.
Oh, I highly appreciate everything you've left me to, but everything else, I'm still fighting on my own. Thank you very much.
Well, it is very good to see you. We have much to discuss, and time grows short. Your destiny, child, is upon you. Out in the courtyard.
Oh no. No.
The ceremony begins.
My Makari, my...
Alanir and Mykaria, you have left the courtyard or no?
I hadn't planned on leaving the courtyard, but I was more or less just trying to get Mykaria to exit the courtyard, just because she was standing out so much.
Okay.
So I was, I guess, more or less like, go find Mykaria, and then just kind of loiter in that general area with my food and drink. But I wasn't actually planning on going with her.
Okay. And then Mykaria. Is Mykaria going to actually physically leave the courtyard, or was she going to wander around to try to find Mykaria?
She knew that Makaria was not going to be in the courtyard, so she was going to go and wander around in the hall because she did not know where. So, after, 50-50 if she goes up the stairs or she just starts wandering the first floor.
Okay. Well, the first door that she could get to is the stairwell that leads directly up to where she knows Makaria's rooms are. So, we will say that for all intents and purposes, she is making her way at the moment that what is happening in Makaria's room is happening. Mykaria is approaching down the hallway. Okay. So then Mykaria is not present for what happens next. In the courtyard. Great. Then
Did partly save Makaria's like little blood simulacrum.
Yes, you did.
Are you gonna yell, "Oh yeah," when this guy smashes through the wall to create havoc?
The intervening couple of moments involves Quillen explaining to you, Eldrick, when the ceremony begins, this is what is expected of you. I will say, I will give instruction to you. You either will repeat what I say or answer in the way that you were instructed to do so. There's a bit of ritual to this. Effectively, you will stand, you'll face your subjects. I will read the coronation ritual. You will respond, and at the end, you will be the crown will be placed on your brow, or the coronet will be placed on your brow, and your colors, your emblem, will be draped across your shoulders. at the moment that it's all very formal, very solemn, very somber. There isn't a requirement. You've already made your speech. There isn't a requirement for you to elaborate. This is expected that this is done in a very, very programmed way. So all that you need to do is just respond. If that's, you can do that.
Got it. Just checking some ranges here while you describe that. No particular reason. Just seeing who's within 30 feet of me. Because that's the safe zone. Maybe.
So then Quillen actually raises his voice and calls the crowd to attention. Lets them know that the ceremony is about to begin. You are standing there. Your mother kind of squeezes your hand and then reaches up to start to remove your cloak. You're still standing there in your armor, your full armor. It's not exactly a platform, but they've laid out, kind of like a ritual circle, some candles, some not incense necessarily, but some of the trappings of finery that is expected as part of this very august, very austere ceremony.
I would like to remind you that Madeline has Death Ward on her for another 7 hours.
Got it. Understood.
Just saying. No particular reason. Just saying.
Understood.
Dispelled?
What's that? No, the first one was I burned both of my 4th level spells, putting it back on her.
Oh.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, because I was 100% convinced that a bunny was going to hop out of a coffee cup and punch her in the face.
Still might.
I think it is about might. Anyway.
The good people of Morov, I present to you your Baron, His Excellency, Eldrick Oaks. Please gather around, bear witness to this grand ceremony, this coronation of the 28th Baron of Morov. Eldrick, please repeat. I, Eldrick Oaks. Do you have a middle name?
Nope.
I, Eldrick Oaks.
I, Eldrick Oaks.
In the presence of the assembled nobles, leaders, clergy, and citizens of this realm, do hereby solemnly swear and affirm. I'm going to put this in the chat so that you can... you don't have to try to remember it all.
I was like, you keep going! In the presence of the assembled nobles, leaders, clergy, and citizens of this realm, do hereby solemnly swear and affirm.
Baron Oaks, do you swear to uphold justice without fear or favor, and to ensure that the laws of this land are administered fairly to all its people?
I do.
Do you swear to defend the realm, to be a shield for your people, and a sword against all those that would threaten their safety and liberty, so that none needlessly suffer in your realm?
I do.
Do you swear to honor the traditions and culture of this land and its people, respecting our great history while seeking to advance and improve our future?
I do.
Do you swear to uphold the faiths and values of our people, respecting all goodly religious institutions, and providing for the spiritual well-being of your subjects?
I do.
Do you swear to seek wise counsel from trusted advisors, noble peers, and learned scholars to make informed decisions for the betterment of your realm?
I do.
Do you offer unwavering loyalty to and support to the Bloodstone throne and to His Majesty King Gareth Dragonsbane, to serve as his steadfast vassal, and to commit your counsel and the aid of the Bloodstone Kingdom whenever called upon?
I do.
Then, in the name of King Gareth Dragonsbane, I do hereby swear this oath. Do you hereby swear this oath by Holy Ilmater, binding and bonding your body, heart, and spirit to the barony of Morov and to the kingdom of Bloodstone?
So it is sworn.
Bear witness, all ye gods and men, all those present, cry out a welcome to His Excellency, Baron Eldrick of the House Oaks. And the crowd erupts into applause. And for as the crowd is applauding, I almost said cloud. As the
we
crowd
heard that.
applauds,
We didn't miss that.
Quillen approaches Durbin Holy, who is holding a chest. He opens the chest and takes out a small circlet of woven gold and silver with bloodstones inset in it. It's not a grand crown, but it is a circlet and a symbol of the badge of office of the Barony of Bloodstone. He very solemnly steps over and places it on your head, bids you stand and face the crowd, and smiling faces all around. 3 people. Choose 3 people that you see in the crowd.
Like that I make eye contact with?
The first 3 people that you look to.
The first 3 people that I look to that would be this direction would probably be, if I see Miranda, I'll look to her.
Okay.
Well, let's say, let me get the actual names here for a second. Lana Bailing and Sebastian Killian, just because they're all kind of in the same direction.
Okay. All 3 of them are smiling very broadly, with the exception of Killian, who is smiling and he's applauding, but he's not as boisterous as the others. Miranda has tears in her eyes, and everyone else around them seems to be just kind of lost in this applause. Miranda, in particular, has this look on her face. Go ahead and make me an insight check.
That would be sadly a 14.
It is just awe, just in complete awe, and there's just this obvious, very I want to say possessive, but just a great deal of pride in you as she looks at you as this crown is settling down on your head, and then you feel a drapery being a new cloak being draped over your shoulders that bears your symbol. Have you decided what that symbol is?
Yes, it'll be the symbol of Morov, the silver scale on you said it was a bronze background?
Yes.
Did my internet die?
No, can you not hear us?
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear whatever your response was.
No,
it's a silver scale on a bronze background, right?
That's correct. Yes.
Right. Similar to the white cloaks have that same symbol, but with they have a yellow background, but they have the tree kind of like in the background of the scale.
Mm-hmm.
Eldrick's going to do the silver scale with a silver hammer kind of in the background on the bronze field with the heraldry outlined in green.
Great. That's very amazing. That's very awesome. And that is the symbol that is on the very fine, kind of rich brown, very similar to a bronze, like kind of a bluish, tending toward like a metallic bluish brownish cloak that is draped over your shoulders with that symbol emblazoned across the back. And the crowd continues to just go, wild. And then, as the applause starts to, it just continues for moment after moment after moment. You're getting a little uncomfortable. Just people are, hey. Specifically the Owens family is standing pretty close to the front, and you see kind of whispers going between the 3 teenage girls and a kind of maybe like a scheming look in the eyes of Farron Owens, and a smile.
Yeah, seems about right.
and not like a not clearly like not a malevolent look by any stretch of the imagination, but naked ambition on the face of Farron Owens as he's standing there with his 3 daughters arrayed in front of him.
Somebody wants to get some daughters married off. I see how it is.
You see a momentary look between Farron and Madeline reaches down and squeezes your hand.
Wait a minute. That doesn't track. I thought she was trying to set me up with the demon wizard.
And then there's thoros'l, Alanir, Eldrick. Roll me a perception check.
Oh, Buggleberries.
Oh.
Is it perception?
13 for me.
Perception.
2. God. That would be a 16 for Eldrick. That's surprising.
And only a 13 total for Alan.
I know our
Wait.
Our passive is so high.
Wait.
Okay.
My 2 guys that add like 15 to this roll got 13s, and
Yeah.
I
You
had
only had-
2. Okay.
You know what? This is all about you, not about us. Stop trying to put this on us.
I don't see the problem.
They're entirely just too much into the moment, the celebration, the celebratory moment, that they don't notice what is going on until.
Do I notice?
And you, all that you are aware of immediately is just the roar of the crowd. And as the crowd starts to die down a little bit, there is a very hasty, "Your Excellency," it's Durban Holy, behind you. He says, "Your Excellency, a moment." And then you hear a bang as the doors to the manor directly behind you burst outward. They don't explode, but they burst outward. And a man in in Oak's house garb and armor comes rolling out, like as though he has just been thrown through the door. And then another one. And
that seems bad.
everybody turns, and the applause mostly continues because people are not really sure what's happening yet. But Madeline ducks out around. She grabs a hold of you, and you probably instinctively pull her to the side as one of the men bowls into Durban Holy and takes him to the ground. As you step forward, you see a bedraggled-looking figure with maybe a week's worth of very, very grisly, unshaven face, growth of a very unkempt beard. What looks like may have once been very, very fine robes or clothing that is torn and tattered. And you hear a voice up over before you even see who this is. He's coming out of the darkness of the manor itself. You hear a voice say, "I have to see Eldrick. I have to tell him." And you make me a history check.
It's the crazy guy.
The crazy guy?
Yeah.
It seems like a very nondescript.
Didn't you invite a crazy guy to your party?
Dude, do you know how many crazy people we've encountered in this campaign? You remember Cephras Dwindon? That's a 24.
You absolutely recognize the voice.
24.
Absolutely recognize the voice.
As
well, as your brain begins to spin, you say, no, it couldn't possibly be. The figure steps out into the clearing, into the light, and you see the unshaven, dirty, wild, bewildered face of Nelict. He says, "Eldrick!"
Yes!
What is happening?
He steps out, just kind of staggers out into the clearing. His hands are kind of clenched into half fists, and he's just got this wild look in his eyes. He says, "Eldrick! I have to tell you." And there's just tears. You notice now tears are streaming down his face. "I have to tell you, Eldrick. I have to tell you, I'm sorry." And that's gonna be where we end tonight's session.
Oh my god, what is going on? Oh my goodness.
Thanks to everybody who came out tonight for episode 25. I hope this was a good one for you. This was a great one for me.
Oh my god.
We will wrap up 100%. We will wrap up the Eldrick's Ascension party next week with episode 26. Eldrick's Ascension, or Eldrick, I'm sorry. Remember to come back tomorrow night if you're interested in Starfleet battles. We'll be doing Gorn versus Romulan. We're calling the Plasma Boys. See if Bennett can.
The Plasma Boys.
See if Bennett can repeat on me in Gorn versus Romulan. If you're not interested in Starfleet battles, but League of Legends is more your thing, Thursday, Friday, Saturday this week, expectation is we'll be doing some ARAMs and some Summoner's Rift in brand new Season 14 content. Looking forward to it. Thank you, everybody who came out. Thank you, cast. Very much appreciate your participation this evening. Hope this was as good for you as it was for me. Good night, everybody, and GG.
Good night, everybody.